Welcome to the Scottish Classic Sports and Saloon Car Championship here at Knockhill for our David Leslie Trophy meeting in July under nice dry warm sunny skies and a decent grid of classics. 12 cars in total, with Alistair Bapty and John Kinmond being the front row of the grid, with Bruce Mitchell and Mario Ferrari alongside each other on row 2. Craig Houston and William Conway make up row 3, with Alistair Coates and Michael Longstaff just behind them. Andrew Kinmond, Andrew Elliott, Gary Taylor and Duncan O'Neill run out the entire grid. Now let's see, we're under starters orders. We know this is probably going to be Bapty versus Kinmond for the big power horses at the front, but there could be battling for the the middle classes all the way through. We've already got a full complement of lights on the bridge. Here we go. Lights out and down towards Duffus Dip we go, and a terrible start. They're going to say that Mario Ferrari, that just did not hook up, and Mario finds himself mired in the mid-pack. But it's Kinmond who leads from Bapty and Mitchell as they go over the crest of Duffus Dip. I'm delighted to see William Conway going through there in his Mini, as well as Ferrari dives up the inside. Hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. He gets through, just slithers in behind car number 5, Michael Longstaff, as Andrew Elliott flashes past in his Mazda MX-5, car number 2. Andrew in the F class and getting round pretty well. I've got to say that he's enjoying more and more the laps he does here at Knockhill Racing Circuit, racing with the guys in the Scottish Classic Sports and Saloon Car Championship. Heading towards the open door. At the front we have got John Kinmond and Alistair Bapty. This is going to be a battle like this all the way to the flag. Bapty has had the upper hand in previous meetings. Kinmond, as Mario Ferrari spins round one way and then back the other. Now that's quite strange. That's a front wheel drive car, is it not? Maybe it's not, maybe it is. Looked like Mario had a big oversteer moment here, so it's not been the greatest start to this race number 1 for Mario. Finds himself bogging down on the start line and then has a half spin, and look at the speed of Kinmond and Bapty as they go through turn 3 McIntyres. But back to these E-Class cars at the front. We're told on the sheets that Bapty has a 3.8 litre and John Kinmond's Rover SD1 is a 3.5 litre, but it has, I think, a bigger engine than that in it. Alistair Coates goes through. First time we've seen Alistair in his Escort. It's normally a big Mustang for Alistair, so great to see him in a car. Well, it almost looks like Jimmy Crow's had a paint job, doesn't it, as they go up the back straight. Those guys head to Clark's as the leaders are through the hairpin. Bapty just shadowing Kinmond. And personally, I'd be looking in my mirror absolutely terrified if I saw Alistair Bapty behind me. It's a frightening thought as we go on board with Mario Ferrari. Now, you need to do it better than last time, Mario. He goes up the inside. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. Tyres squealing, and through the corner goes Mario with a big sigh of relief, going past Alistair Coates and Andrew Kinmond in that one foul swoop. Andrew Elliott watches from a distance, a safe distance we would say, as well as Kinmond does a big slide. Look at the black lines on the tar at the exit of the chicane. Bruce Mitchell can only watch in quiet awe in that car just now, but he's still in a fine third place overall and comfortably leading the B-Class honours. A little bit shy on B-Class cars. The only other B-Class car we've got is Alistair Coates, sorry. And it's a little bit of a shame, but such is the pace that Bruce Mitchell has been showing us all year. He really has been a man on form when it's dry and it's not a misfire. Up the main straight, we're on board with Bapty. He just sneaks up alongside Kinmond. Did Kinmond lift there and give Bapty a little way through? No, he's coming back on the inside as John Kinmond. Wow, that's a big car, that Rover. And John, massive oversteer slide through Leslie's and then launches himself over the sausage curb at McIntyre's. Well, Bapty's on board. It's going to be pretty exciting for Alistair to watch in the bath tonight when he gets home. But John Kinmond dragging, we can see, that Rover SD1 within an inch of its life around Knockhill Racing Circuit. Craig Houston goes through ahead of the still going William Conway, which is great to see. And William Conway went through quite an effort to get that car here the last time, and it has got a beautiful paint job as Bapty tries to go around the outside. Now you could see that was classic. Bapty tried to go around the outside and Kinmond just released the brake pedal and basically caught up the inside and took complete control of that situation. But Bapty, yeah, that car is extremely fast in a straight line. Pulls out, passes John Kinmond. A little look in the mirror. Where's John Kinmond coming? He's going to have to go round the outside, and it's not going to happen. Bapty leads at Duffus Dip as he goes down. Oh, a little bit of correction mid-turn in there at turn 3 McIntyre's ahead of John Kimmond, and John Kimmond is once again in full attack mode, sliding that car through. And note all the floppies still in position. The classic guys really treating the track limits with the respect that they deserve. The track limits are there for a reason, and the floppy's still in place just now. Here comes William Conway though. Anything could change, and the paint job on that car, yeah, it's transformed. It used to be just red, but he has got it looking pretty period there, and it looks nice, and it's still going. He had a disaster for the round where he kind of unveiled the car, brought it out, and the car kept stopping, unfortunately for him. But this time the car is still running as the 2 leaders flash over the finish line, because the finish line is there and the start line's at the top of the hill. But Bapty pulls away a little bit from Kinmond. Now if you look back, I have a timing sheet from qualifying as they both get very close to the floppies. 57.110 Alistair Bapty's qualifying time in the MGBGT V8. John Kimmond 58.6, so 1.4 seconds between them in qualifying. Now if that can happen per lap in the race, Bapty is going to build up quite a healthy lead towards the end of this race. We'll have to see what happens and see what unfolds here at Knockhill Racing Circuit in nice sunny conditions. We've got to say that on the Saturday here. Everybody streaks past, Andrew Elliott being the last car. Then Bapty fires into view at the hairpin as we go on board just now, down through and following Mario Ferrari over the apex of McIntyre's. Mario Ferrari, that could well be, is that Michael Longstaff? Yes, it will be the little MG midget who was following. I thought I recognised that bulge and headlamp kind of silhouette that the little MG has. And Longstaff goes, look at Andrew Elliott, look at the, wow, Andrew Elliott launches that Mazda MX-5 through the chicane. And I never thought I would see the day when a Mazda MX-5 fell into the classics along with the XR2s. I never thought I would see that day either. But that day is now upon us as Alistair Coates comes in as well towards the hairpin. Through comes Alistair, a little bit sideways, yeah, that just like Jimmy Crowe, that's exactly how he would have done it. And then up the main street he goes, over the crest off the hill and heading towards Duffus Dip. As we look back to see whoever else wants to come through just now, they all stream across the line. But we wait for this man here, Bapty. Just listen to that car going. He is building up a bit of a lead now over the guys, over John Kinmond behind him. I was going to say guys because Bruce Mitchell's somewhat off the back of John Kinmond, but Longstaff takes us through the chicane here with Coates behind him as they head up the back straight. And Ferrari bounces the Alpha through Clark Corner. That's quite unusual. Obviously a lot of grip coming from the back of that car, and it kind of pogos its way. Is that the right word? Yeah, pogos its way through Clark Corner. Alistair might do a dance like that, or not Alistair, Mario himself. But here he comes through the hairpin. Let's watch it this time. Yeah, car looks pretty good, pretty sorted. He will be kicking himself after that bad start though. That bad start, that half spin at the hairpin, really has put the Alpha Sprint Trofeo car, the A-class car, 1500cc engine, on the back foot, and he's really doing a bit of a comeback drive now. As we go on board, Longstaff has just been passed by Coates. Coates brakes. Brilliant. Absolutely first class camera view this. As we just listen. Longstaff goes through chasing Coates, and yeah, Coates might have his hands full because Michael Longstaff is quite quick in that little MG midget. It's only 1380-ish cc engine. It's a Class A car. So if we look at the classes, the big guys at the front, the big guns are all in Class E. The big engines, big cars. We have also got a couple of Class B cars, 3B class in total for Bruce Mitchell, Craig Houston and Alistair Coates, who we see coming into the hairpin ahead of Michael Longstaff. And then, yeah, Bapty is starting to scythe his way through the traffic now. And very, very respectful. Oh, Coates is lame, leaving the hairpin. Longstaff pulls out. Has Alistair Coates got a problem, or did he just miss a gear there? He will be kicking himself with that one. As they make their way up the main street, you miss a gear leaving the hairpin and it's just a disaster. It makes the straight even longer. As Mario Ferrari bounces his way through McIntyre's turn 3 and heads towards the chicane. He's now starting to catch up with William Conway. Does get called BJ, but he's starting to catch up with William. and Alistair Bapty likewise has pulled a big gap. Kinman should be the next car through. We just get a quick flash of John Kinman, and he really is on the back foot now as he tries to catch up with Bapty. The lead now out to 6-7 seconds as John Kinman comes through Clark. And you've just got to think that Rover's a big car, big heavy car, the little MGB GT V8. Powerful car, a lot smaller, a lot lighter, shorter wheelbase. It must be easier to drive than John Kinman, who tends to go sideways quite a lot. Mario Ferrari about to come under the cosh of Bapty as Bapty launches his way past and Michael Longstaff. Oh no! Michael Longstaff spins so close to being collected by Kinman there. Very, very close. That could have been a disaster for A. Longstaff, because that would have been into the driver's door, and you don't want that happening. And yet John Kinman just lucky to scrape away with that one and keep his second place. That was a little bit close for comfort in the classics here, as we see them all heading up the back straight towards Clark, and Kinman comes through. I can imagine there will be a big sigh of relief in that car for John Kinman, because that could have been the end of his weekend. And also Michael Longstaff thankfully gets away. Yeah, he's had enough. He's heading for the pit lane. No, he's not. Changes his mind at the very last minute as we're getting towards the business end of this race now, as we see Andrew Elliott still increasing the pressure here up the back straight on Andrew Kinman, as crossing the line and going on for another lap goes Bapty into Duffy's Dip. Bapty really has brought the classics to another level. Look at that, Ferrari having a look at his good friend Conway, and he has to back out of that one, because if that had gone any further, that could have been a little bit of a disaster there, to tell you the truth. Mario Ferrari thankfully backed out of that, but he is not finished with that Mini. The Alpha, desperate to get past the Mini, and he's at the business end of the race now. He needs to make that happen. The little Mini, the size of engine that William Conway has, is a 1380 A-Class car. Ferrari also an A-Class car. 100cc more, does it make a difference? It probably will, yes. But the Mini, probably the perfect car designed for racing. There's a wheel on each corner. It's perfectly distributed with weight. And William actually drives it extremely well. As we see we don't see Coates, we see Bapty leaving the hairpin. Car number 1 up towards the checker flag, and there's a spin in the background as Bapty wins again. Was that Mario Ferrari spinning again in the background? It possibly was. William Conway's delighted. He gives his mate Mario Ferrari a bit of a wave as he has a half spin at the hairpin. John Kinman comes through in second place. Bruce Mitchell will take a very lonely third in the Lotus Europa TC B-Class car. He goes across the line, as does Alistair Coates. And then a big gap. Oh, look at that. At the last corner, Andrew Elliott sends it up the inside of Andrew Kinman to take that position. Can he hold it towards the line now? I believe he will. Andrew Elliott, just takes that position away from Andrew Kinman. And Michael Longstaff will be our last runner through.
I am with our class leader, so I've got William Conway here, who won Class A. First win?
Yeah, first outright win, without actually by default sort of thing, people falling out, etc. So yeah, and beat Mario fair and square for the first time.
Excellent. A little bit loud exhaust there, we've got a bit of an issue.
Yeah, we cracked it in qualifying and couldn't fix it in time. By the sounds of it, the cracks went further. I'm expecting the exhaust box to be hanging off it, to be honest.
So your first win with a broken car?
Pretty much. Temperatures were going through the roof. I was at 105 there as well, so I just had to keep in front. I got by Mario at the start, so just it was a case I could see the finish line. I just have to get it right and keep going.
Excellent, yeah, praying for the last lap board there. Excellent, superb, well done. So we are with Bruce Mitchell and the Lotus Europa. That was a fantastic race out there, a little bit lonely towards the end, but pushing hard.
It got spread out a wee bit towards the end. What it does, I mean, the two big engine cars, they definitely have the legs on us, but the car's going well. I enjoyed it, trying to keep up with them for a wee while. Got a sweat on anyway.
A hassle-free race, you can't complain with that. So looking forward to the rest of the weekend.
Looking forward to tomorrow. I hope it's nice and dry like today. Good for us and good for the spectators, marshals. If it's dry, it makes everybody happy.
Excellent, well done, and we'll speak to you soon. So I'll move over and I'll get our first man on the road, Alistair Bapty. Yeah, I've changed. I put on a bit of weight.
You like yourself, catch it, I mean, that's good.
Lost some here and put on a bit of weight, but yeah, dominant out at the front there. We were all saying in the commentary tower and trackside, do you think we could get below the 57s? And you did in lap 11. I think it was a 56.9. Is that the quickest you've had out the car?
No, we had a 56.1 when we did Sports and Saloons, but I don't know, just track seems to be, it was the same tracks as it resurfaced, I don't know, just not really getting it together, so just a trial and error exercise.
So nothing to do with saying Will Robson and Paul Pagan on the straight, fancy having a go yourself?
No. I'll just concentrate on the class.
Excellent, good stuff, well done, Keith. Right, let's have a little chat with, oh sorry, yeah, question, I'll tell you. Right, sorry, we'll get the GT lights back off the way to get their podium done. So third place is Peter Drennan. Second place for number 57, Jake Barr.
Race number 2 for the Classics, and Bapty comes up to the front row, and he's going to be all alone in that front row because John Kinmond is not coming out to play in this one. Bruce Mitchell behind him. Now, what we should say, Bruce Mitchell, congratulations, a lap record for Bruce Mitchell yesterday in the B class, 58.948. Bruce Mitchell getting faster and faster with each race meeting, just leaving a little bit late in the day. So Bapty alone on the front row of the grid with Houston and Mitchell on row 2. The 5-second board goes out, the revs increase, lights starting to come on, full complement of lights on the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge. Lights out and down we go for their Sunday race number 1, race number 2 of the weekend for the guys, and Ferrari this time gets a good launch, which is good to see as they head down towards Duffus Dip. Bapty leads and manages to get over the apex, heads down with a big lead over Bruce Mitchell already. Conway's found himself into third ahead of Houston, ahead of Ferrari. The light missing from the Mini, I would imagine that's possibly for some sort of cooling aid, or he might have reversed it to something in the paddock or driven, I don't know. As they come through the chicane, Bapty leads up the back straight. Let's look further down, we've got Kinmond coming through. He's ahead of Michael Longstaff just now, and the XRs are involved in this as well. But not starting this race, we have got Gary Taylor, Alistair Coates and John Kinmond. So a little bit shy on runners at the front, which is a bit of a shame. Bapty on his own. Ferrari looking at Houston from a fair distance back. I would imagine Houston's going to cover that. No, Ferrari goes up the inside and we see it from the back. Brilliant view that. Did like that. Up the main straight they come. That was from the back of a little Mini of William Conway. As up the main straight, Longstaff manages to just slither past Kinmond on the way up the hill. And into Duffus Dip. Yeah, Mario Ferrari holds that place from Craig Houston in his Lotus XL, a car you don't see very often racing in race series. A Lotus XL. Up the back straight goes Alistair Bapty. Alistair Bapty really has got this car going so well. Lots of suspension tweaks, I've been told, in the paddock. The tweaks, you're not going to exactly tell me what the tweaks are, but he's been working very hard on the suspension. As we go inboard, Alistair looks a little bit lively on the brakes just yet, but I'm pretty sure they will get to the bottom of that and try and make that car even smoother and faster to drive. Through the hairpin and up the main straight, across the finish line goes Bapty as we go on board with him just now. And this is a quick car. That was a 58.8 that lap time. We could see that on Alistair's own timer on board. And 58.8, that is probably equivalent to what Bruce Mitchell will do. So Bapty should go a couple of seconds faster if he needs to. Thing is, there's no real need for him to do that and put the car under that much strain. As the spectators at Duffus Dip, a decent turnout for the David Leslie Trophy meeting. That's a great thing to see. David Leslie still very fond in our hearts and greatly missed in all of Scottish motorsport. And here at the SMRC today at Knockhill Racing Circuit, a good turnout for his tribute meeting as up the back straight the classics all go. But Bapty, such is the pace of this MGB GT V8, is already at the hairpin. He turns the car through the heart of the corner, and we go back to Michael Longstaff and Andrew Elliott coming through the chicane. And Elliott, yeah, pushing harder and harder, and he's been getting lap records all the way through the year as well, but as of yet he hasn't got one this weekend. Every time Elliott sets a fast lap, it's usually a lap record in that class. Bruce Mitchell crosses the line. and he is some 10-12 seconds already behind. But look at this, the battle between Ferrari and Conway is back on, and looking back from Conway, he covers the inside line. Love it. Mario Ferrari is going to have to go round the outside. Hold on to your hats if you're watching. That Mini is never going to be outbraked, never. And Conway manages to hold off Ferrari this time, but it's going to be a pretty long race for William Conway if he has to drive like that and battle all the way with Mario Ferrari. Mario's car looks just a little bit more top-endy, shall we say, a little bit quicker at the high speed bits, with a lot of money through the twisty corners. Really has, that's where it kind of excels. You go on board. Now that's a big wide line. No, Ferrari was going for the inside. So William Conway, maybe that's why the headlamp's missing. There's a camera in there. But William, I believe he was under attack from Mario Ferrari going in towards Clark Corner, so he had to give a bit of space as Bapty comes into Duffus Dip. As Mitchell, that's the whole length of the straight he's got now. Mitchell leaves the hairpin. I believe Mario Ferrari will try his hardest to catch up with Bruce Mitchell, but Bruce has quite a commanding lead over Mario. William Conway is going to have to watch for Craig Houston. The debris flag at the top of Duffus Dip. Now, has somebody removed a floppy? Or has there something been spilt on the circuit? Well, the flag's out for a reason, that's for sure. The marshals will be well on top of what's happening. And that flag used to be called the oil flag, but it really is, it just means that the track surface has changed from the last time you were there. The yellow and red striped flag as we go back on board with the current defending reigning champion. Call him what you want. A lot of people will as he comes through the hairpin. Let's watch the timer at the side if we don't stay on long enough. It would have been good to see what Alistair's time was as he crossed the line there. We go back out the back of the circuit and then quickly flash to the hairpin to see Bruce Mitchell coming through and running quite wide through the hairpin. Was Bruce there? So a bit of a charge on the brakes, or Bruce maybe losing a little bit of concentration. That's the thing, when you're on your own, it's very easy to lose concentration. When you're in the heat of a battle, it's, you know, you're already always concentrating. You're trying to second guess what the driver behind you is going to do. So your mind is very active, but when you are on your own, you can just drift away and notice a few people in the crowd, and you have to kind of keep yourself reined in as a driver, so the focus and concentration is there. Bruce maybe made a little error there just because of lack of concentration. He's through the back of the circuit now, and one would imagine that he is giving himself a bit of a talking to. As we go back towards the hairpin, we catch number 66, Duncan O'Neill, and now Alistair Bapty. 53 seconds. What's he going to be as he crosses the line? It's at the top of the hill for Alistair's timer. 57 something, and then the screen changed to Andrew Elliott coming through. And Andrew Elliott, by the way, this is a news update. Andrew Elliott, new lap record in F class, a 104.605 on that last lap. Elliott is on a charge, and he is trying very. And Alistair Bapty also is on a charge. He has set his fastest lap of the race with that last lap, 57.17. Let's see if Bapty, can he slither into the 56s? If he can, the lap record could be on for Bapty as well. Not just Andrew Elliott, it could be a Bapty lap record. Let's see where Michael Longstaff decides to come back into view at the top of the hairpin, and a lovely line through the hairpin by Andrew Elliott there. He's got Bapty coming up behind him, as William Conway still not finished with Mario Ferrari as they go in a battle through the chicane. Craig Houston launched himself through the top. The spectators stopped to look and see what is happening at Clark Corner as Alistair Bapty now comes through, the left-hander of Leslie's, named after the late, great David Leslie. And in the next corner, McIntyre's named after Bob McIntyre. Through Butcher's after Derek Butcher, and then right now the chicane, but just have to grab the car by the scruff of the neck and bounce through. It's probably one of the most photographed, iconic corners in British motorsport. And it's been smoothed out over the years. And when I say that, I don't mean the track. I mean the curbs. The curbs used to be, I'm going to say man's curbs, but they were very rough, and you used to almost have to take too much curb to get through there. The touring cars pitched themselves way up onto two wheels. But they have smoothed the curbs out to make them a little bit more user-friendly over the years, as we see Michael Longstaff and Alistair Bapty popping over the finish line. And Bapty is absolutely flying at the front here, putting in lap after lap after lap. That man is pretty much focused all the way, and he's not letting anybody come between him and, right now, a brace of victories. And he could go into a little treble, actually, because they do have a third race today. and the Sunday. 1 on the Saturday and 2 on the Sunday. It's a day and a half meeting here at Knockhill Racing Circuit for the SMRC. As through the chicane once again comes that yellow MGB GT V8 in the midget and in the MX5. The midget looks like the little baby brother of the BGT. When it grows up, it might want to be one of them. As Craig Houston now leaves the hairpin, and we wait for Alistair Bapty to come bursting into view from behind the hillside. Here he comes on the brakes, nice and planted all the way in towards the turning point, through the heart of the corner, and pick the throttle up and accelerate as hard as you dare through and up and out of that corner. And Bapty is absolutely flying. He's putting in lap after lap. That lap was within a couple of tenths of what he's done as Mario Ferrari comes through the chicane, and he has managed to slither away a little bit from William Conway. But William Conway will have to watch for that man there, Craig Houston, because Craig is lapping faster than Conway just now. As we see a 56.8 for Bapty. 56.8 was a lap record. It was almost lap record territory. In fact, that's a new lap record for Alistair Bapty. That 56.8 second lap. Our timing screen showing it as a 56.7. So either way, between my smart timing screen, sponsored by the Edinburgh Watch Company, or supported I should say, Alistair Bapty's timer just a little bit out because we're timed to the finish line here. So a lap record for Andrew Elliott in the F class, and Alistair Bapty in the E class has also stretched a lap record to a 56.781, which if you rounded it up would be Bapty's 56.8. Longstaff again taking the long way around the hairpin. Andrew Elliott taking the much more economical, shortest racing line through the hairpin and getting a good exit, but Longstaff just out of reach of Andrew Elliott. Try as he may, he's not going to catch that up as Duncan O'Neill stays out of William Conway's way, because William Conway can see Craig Houston coming in. Also in his mirrors, I'd imagine he had noticed the yellow Baptymobile starting to home in. The Baptymobile should be straight out of Gotham, that car, shouldn't it? As we head round towards Hislops and then towards the Knockhill hairpin. Over on the right hand side is O'Neill. He stays well out the way in his XR2, and Bapty past that without any issues. Next car is the Lotus XL of Craig Houston, and then William Conway as well. Craig Houston already under the cosh, the B class car, and Conway's little A class Mini. Look at this, look at the speed of the E class car. Even though that's on the brakes, Bapty still takes that position away. As we come in towards McIntyre's, looking forward from William Conway at Alistair Bapty, the race leader, and through the chicane goes Mario Ferrari in his Alfa Trofeo. Alfa Sprint Trofeo. I don't want any of the Alfa fraternity giving me a hard time for missing a part of the name out, sorry. And I know that Alfas have a big fan base, a big following for the Alfa Suds, Alfa Trofeos, the Sprints, everything. People do love Alfas, and a historic racing brand. Obviously coming back to the forefront of motorsport. They find themselves in Formula 1 now, with Kimi Räikkönen being one of their drivers. Never thought I would mention Kimi Räikkönen in a Scottish Classic Sports and Saloon Car Championship race. There you go, win for Bapty. He takes a double victory here at Knockhill. Second place will be a very, very distant Bruce Mitchell, as we also see Conway has gone through behind Houston there. We wait for Duncan O'Neill to come through, but second place man on the road, Bruce Mitchell, 31 seconds adrift the last lap round. Such was the pace of Alistair Bapty. Up towards the flag comes Michael Longstaff, and he manages to hold off Andrew Elliott just. And there's Bruce Mitchell coming home for a fine second place. Mario Ferrari credited with third ahead of Craig Houston. William Conway, Michael Longstaff, Andrew Elliott, and Duncan O'Neill rounds out the final runner.
So Duncan O'Neill, class winner of the XR2s. Did you have a good battle out on track?
Gary kind of broke down at the beginning. I don't know what's up with his car, so I'll need to have a quick look. The mechanics will be at that now. So, I wish we get more like the last time. The frees were out the last time, but it's obviously just me and Gary. But we had problems yesterday with the cars, so I fixed mine. Gary's isn't, so I'll need to go back to see what's up with his.
Yeah, go and have a wee tinker and see what you can do.
See what we do. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. So you were third overall. Was there a bit of confusion there at the flag?
Yeah, because Alistair obviously was lapping me, and I seen the flag, and I wasn't sure if the race was over or not, or if I had one more lap to go. But I thought, well, I'll ease off the throttle and see what happens. I still had a big enough gap from BJ, so if there was one more lap to go, I'd have just kept going.
I think you both put an extra lap in at the end there just to be safe.
probably wouldn't be the first time. Yeah.
Good battles out on track?
Yes, a bit unfortunate yesterday. I punctured towards the end, that's why I went off the track a couple of times. But BJ's a hard man to catch and pass, so I'm glad I got past him and got first in class.
Well deserved trophy.
Thank you very much.
Good. So you were second overall and first in Class B.
That's correct, aye. That was,
Any issues with the car? Was it all okay?
there is an issue just now, don't know if you heard a backfire when I came in.
I did. Got a little bit of a fright.
That was it. So I'm assuming there's plugs fouled and left petrol in the exhaust and it ignited when it was hot. So I'll have to go and have a look at that. So
Hopefully
you can give us a hand if you want.
I'm not one for getting my hands dirty. Well, hopefully you can get it fixed for the next race and it's nothing too serious.
I hope so, aye, it should be. I've got plugs and stuff, so we'll have a look at it and see and fix it out. But it was a good race, I thoroughly enjoyed it. At least it stayed dry for everybody. That's a bonus.
Fingers crossed it stays like that the rest of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thanks very much, Bruce.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Race number 3 for the Scottish Classic Sports and Saloon Car Championship. And do I see wipers on cars? Yes, I do. That's not good. That means there's a bit of rain in the air for these guys. So, let's see how this one comes out. Bapty still on pole position. And John Kimmond, welcome back. You see the big Rover SD1 at the back there, starting from the back of the grid after missing race number 2. So a little bit of moisture in the air is going to make this one pretty exciting. You can see as you're falling, if you look closely at the back of Kinman's car there. Out goes the 5-second board. The Beatson's Building Supply Bridge now illuminates with the lights. 5 lights, full complement of lights. Hold your breath. Lights out and away we go down towards Duffus Dip. And look at John Kinman. He knows he's got to get to the inside. He'll pass at least 6 or 7 cars on the rundown, basically threading the needle. And look how wet the windscreen is on Michael Longstaff's car. I do hope he has a wiper. Oh dear, Conway goes round, Ferrari goes round, Longstaff hits the grass, and Andrew Elliott takes escape road. Well, it all went wrong at once there. There was no contact. I think that was just people sliding on a slightly greasy surface, which is brilliant. It gives great for the spectators, but terrible for the drivers. So Mario Ferrari finds himself again behind William Conway, and he won't be too happy with that as we go up the back straight towards Clark Corner. In fact, the leaders are already through Clark Corner and heading towards the hairpin. Andrew Elliott comes through just now with the rest of the guys in the Classic Sports and Saloon Car Championship, just following those cars. But it's Alistair Bapty at the hairpin just now. Through comes Bapty, bit of opposite lock correction there, and he managed to hold that actually. And these conditions, you've got to watch. Kinman's already in second place. That's impressive. Kinman from the back row of the grid gets himself up into second place. But one little micro mistake could have big consequences in this, especially with the track being so slippery. We know Bapty has the pace in the dry. Does Bapty have the pace in the wet? That's what we're going to have to find out. It's not truly wet yet. Well, that rhymes. It is starting to get damp. And the problem being the first man on the road is you're the first guy to encounter those conditions. And everybody behind you can have a watch. It's Bruce Mitchell. Well, catch it, Bruce. Come on, catch it, baby. Well done. That was possibly the longest big fat nearly we have seen in classics in a while. Bruce Mitchell turning his arms into knots as he left the chicane there, but managing to keep the car still pointing in the right direction. Andrew Elliott will like these conditions, I guarantee that. Andrew Elliott will be loving this because it's a big leveler. Now that was exit stage left, William Conway. What happened there? Did something break? Yes, there you go, just nudge the camera around a little bit. He will be there and into the gravel. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going nowhere. It's beached in the gravel trap. Out gets the driver, closes the door. He will have killed the electrics. That's what he goes back in to do, I would imagine. Kills the electrics, and that's not in a good place, no, because there comes the safety car. The safety car pulled forward. And we are going to have a safety car, I would believe, to get that car out of the way for the rest of these drivers. as we wait for the safety car boards to come out. And we wait for the safety car flags as well. I'm still watching. There we go. Boards at the chicane and flags. That will be circuit wide now. SC safety car. So the safety car should pick up the leader, which will be Alistair Bapty and John Kinmond. And look at this now. You can actually see the track changing colour. That means we're going to have the safety car. However many laps, we may get a lap or two added to the race because of the safety car, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But what makes it interesting is we're then going to start the race and it's going to be slippy. It's slippery when wet, and Bapty's wiper looks about as much use as a handbrake on a canoe. Even better, you saw a little shake of the head for Alistair there, so he knows what he's up against now. I'd imagine, though, being a seasoned pro and a triple champion or double champion, Bapty will have the Rainix on the windscreen. If not, well, it's a bit late now, Alistair. But at least you're at the front and you're not going to be getting any spray off cars. Through Duffus Dip they all go. We wait for the lights to come off the safety car. As ever, the recovery teams from the SMMC extremely fast here at Knockhill, doing very quick snatches from the gravel trap and making safe. Mario Ferrari with his wiper on as we go round the circuit and round McIntyre's. Up behind Craig Houston, you can see Bruce Mitchell just ahead in the Lotus Europa. There's Bruce. Lap record in one of the earlier races in race number 1 for Bruce Mitchell. So he's liking this weekend. There won't be any lap records in this race, so as the marshals out there doing a brilliant job in all conditions. We thank the marshals. As a driver myself, I wouldn't be able to race if it wasn't for those guys. And I'd like to think they feel the same about us. They're out there doing what they do passionately, and we're very lucky in Scotland. We have some of the greatest marshals around, and they come out and they stand in all kinds of weather and do a fabulous, fabulous job for all the racers. As the lights are now off the safety car, thank goodness. So the safety car will bolt away at the front, and Bapty is now technically in charge. He can't overtake the safety car. Just try and pick a spot where he will go, and John Kinmond, if he does get a run on him, John Kinmond can't pass until the start line. Now that's not the finish line. The start and finish lines are in different places at Knockhill, but here we go. Through the hairpin goes the safety car, and where is Bapty? What's he doing to the pack? Is he holding him pace, or has he already gone? Here he comes through. He's just keeping them behind. But look at that, Bruce Mitchell's lost a bit of time there. Bruce Mitchell should have been closer. Bapty goes. The lights will stay on until they get to the green flag on the crest of the hill. And then every other post around the circuit will also have their green flag out. So on we go. Bruce Mitchell has Craig Houston behind him, in fact in front of him now. So what's happened here is we go on board with Longstaff, and then Duncan O'Neill still with the 2 wipers on. Now let's keep an eye on Alistair Bapty here, because that wiper simply isn't working, and vision is important as we go through. Lucky for Alistair though, he's the first car at it, so he's not getting much spray, and he pulls away from John Kinmond. And that rover, well, we know the rover's pretty loose at the back anyway, so one would imagine in these conditions it will be even looser as Michael Longstaff goes through Butchers and up towards the chicane. We're getting a bulletin through in the bottom of the smart timing screen, supported by Edinburgh Watch Company, that the race distance is increased to 13 laps, 1 extra lap after the safety car intervention. So Bapty will be desperate for this race to finish. Kinmond will be wanting Bapty to make a mess or having some sort of spin, and all the time Bapty doing this without a wiper on. But looking at that, the water is moving off the screen of the MGB GT very well, so Bapty's obviously had the Rain-X, rain repellent. Other makes of rain repellent are probably available and maybe slightly better, I don't know. But Alistair's got whatever he uses, and it's working well as Kinmond comes through turn 3 McIntyre's and down towards Butchers. You can hear him lifting out of the throttle on the way down. Normally that would be pretty much flat, one would imagine. And just about every race car here it is. As we have another little listen to those guys going through just now. And over the chicane, Craig Houston ahead of Bruce Mitchell and Mario Ferrari. What happened to Bruce Mitchell at the start? Well, we didn't see, but Houston is ahead of both those guys, and he'll be loving that. As through comes Bapty. Look in the mirror for Alistair. Nope, no need. He knows that John Kinmond is far enough behind not to be a threat, and John Kinmond will possibly be ruining losing the track time from race number 2, which he missed, as Bruce Mitchell has gone past Craig Houston. Mario Ferrari sends it up the inside and also passes Craig Houston. So on that lap, Houston loses 2 positions. Houston, we have a problem. Mitchell and Ferrari slither past. Houston tries to retaliate on the inside straight away as they come up over the crest of the hill, and he's doing it. He's past Ferrari, and Mario Ferrari backs out of that one and then tries to go almost round the outside as Houston holds him at bay through the apex of turn 1. That Lotus looks very, shall we say, user-friendly in these damp, tricky conditions. It looks a little bit soft, and that's what you want. You want a car that's a nice bit of soft, it generates a bit more grip. If your car is very stiff, you will not generate the same grip. The car tyres will not dig into the tarmac, and you'll probably end up sliding all over the place. So that's the thing. Did anybody change their car before the race? Did they know it was going to start raining? Was there any tweaks they can make to the suspension? I don't know. It depends how well we look to head towards the weather. As through goes Kinman, and once again Ferrari sends it up the inside of Houston, shuffles the wheel through the corner and manages to get away with that one. And this time he's got the lead, but Houston retaliates back on the inside. This is an interesting, enthralling little battle we've got here, as Houston once again tries to get past as they go over the crest of the hill. Bruce Mitchell's now far enough ahead not to have to worry about this. Who's into view first? It's Ferrari just pinches the Alpha Sprint Trofeo over the nose of the Lotus XL, and look at the rain now falling. So the rain definitely getting heavier, so whoever's out after this, they will have to put up with these tricky weather conditions, as Bruce Mitchell has another huge moment through the chicane. Not as big as his first one, we may add, but still pretty sizable, Bruce. As John Kinmond is, John just likes to generally have fun in the rain. That car slides, it looks like it slides really well. Some cars are very twitchy and not the nicest thing to slide, but such is the length of the big Rover. John looks like he has so much fun when he drives that car. As Bruce Mitchell, on the other hand, his car looks a little bit tricky. He comes through the hairpin, chased by Mario Ferrari. Mario checks the mirror. He's far enough ahead of Craig Houston not to have to worry. As they go over the line, you can hear the different engine notes that we have here for those 3 cars. Bruce Mitchell in his B-Class 1700, Mario Ferrari's A-Class 1500, and the 2-litre B-Class car of Craig Houston, just giving different noises from the engines. All have a different kind of firing as we see them going down through the bottom part of the circuit just now, over the crest of the chicane and up the back straight. These tricky weather conditions that the Classic Sports and Saloon Car Championship have just now, as we see John Kinmond leaving the hairpin. A very damp Knockhill hairpin now. Next car into view will be, in fact we don't go there, the camera jumps away to pick up with the race leader Alistair Bapty, who comes in towards turn 3, which is McIntyre's, and through he comes. And Bapty has been really in control for the whole weekend. He's had 2 out of 2. He's about to make it 3 out of 3 here, if he can just get round for the remainder of this last lap, or a couple of laps to go as he makes his way up the back straight just now. He's got lapped cars behind him. That's Michael Longstaff, and then we've got Duncan O'Neill. The next car is John Kinmond, who is the second place man, as he comes into view. And we see, look at the rain repellent working very well on that car there. The rain repellent working very well on Bapty's car. As we get to the hairpin for Alistair, and can anybody take the championship to Alistair Bapty? He has been well in control as he comes up over the crest of the hill. These last remaining laps, Alistair will just be wanting them to... Oh, John Kinmond does a massive slide through the heart of the hairpin. That was brilliant to see for Kinmond there as he controls that. He's got the lights on as well, and with the lights being on, he's possibly just trying to warn the back markers behind him, or in front of him, that he's coming up behind him. As through the bottom part of the circuit, the lowest part of Knockhill Racing Circuit, Butchers. From here, it's a climb all the way back up to the start line, which is on the crest of the hill, and Andrew Elliott about to get put a lap down by Alistair Bapty. As we go back on board with Ferrari, who's still got Mitchell, and behind him, Houston. He is not home and dry yet. He's still going to have to watch what he does as Bapty comes in towards the hairpin just now. Here comes Alistair Bapty, number 1 on the car. Number 1 on the road, number 1 in position twice already this weekend. Alistair accelerates up towards the line, and on he goes on his merry way. He'll be enjoying this, pulling away handsomely from John Kinmond. The lap gap last time round was 13 seconds actually over John Kinmond on the smart timing screen. So Alistair Bapty just, I'm going to say, tippy-toeing his way around a very slick, slippery Knockhill racing circuit. And that's exactly what he's dealing with here. So you can see him, he's staying well away from the curbs. And you don't want to be touching too many of the curbs, as into the hairpin comes Mario Ferrari. Mario Ferrari comes through the hairpin and then heads up the main straight and heads towards yet another lap. Still chasing Bruce Mitchell. And Bruce Mitchell coming under increasing pressure. Now Bruce he's had a couple of big moments. So he's been bitten almost twice. So Bruce will just be wanting this one to get finished. And seeing that orange Alpha Sprint Trofeo A-Class car coming up behind him, no, he's not going to be happy with that one. Bruce will have to keep his foot in it. But Mario Ferrari looks like he's thrown caution to the wind towards the end of this one. He wants that place. It's not a class place, but it's an overall place on the road, and it would be an overall podium as well as they come through the chicane. And Bruce Mitchell's coming under increasing pressure now as Mario Ferrari homes into the back of that car as Bapty comes through turn 3 McIntyre's. You can see the little track map Alistair's got there, obviously sporting and running a V-Box in that car for his lap times and anything else that the V-Box can give you. As into the hairpin comes Bruce Mitchell. Now Bruce has pulled away a little bit over Mario Ferrari as we saw them coming into our view there, and here comes John Kinmond up behind Andrew Elliott. Andrew Elliott, I'm pretty sure he'll make a nice, yeah, you look at that, indicates coming through the chicane, so Andrew not pulling off the racing line, but makes it pretty clear to see that he will be staying out of the way for John Kinmond. He will not be holding anything up as Bapty comes in towards the hairpin. And what can you say? A little bit of a victory slide through the hairpin, up towards what I would imagine will be a very happy team on the pit wall, and a checker flag for Alistair Bapty. He takes 1, 2, 3 victories this weekend in the Scottish Classic Sports and Saloon Car Championship. Delighted with that, one would imagine, as John Kinmond comes up with lights ablaze to take a fine second place. Bruce Mitchell, can he hold on to that third place from Mario Ferrari? Well, that's what we need to wait and see coming in towards the hairpin. And imagine he'll be coming in just a second or two. Our flagman waits for the rest of the runners to come in. And here comes Bruce Mitchell. Yes, he's ahead of Mario Ferrari. Ferrari in turn still ahead of Craig Houston. And ahead of them on the road, Michael Longstaff, but about to go lap down. Bruce Mitchell will take third place overall. 4th for Mario Ferrari, 5th for Craig Houston. Great drive for Craig Houston, very impressive. Andrew Elliott will come home in 6th, with Michael Longstaff and Duncan O'Neill already classified.
Right, Alistair, another race win there for you, and it's tricky conditions as well. It's not quite full wet, it's not quite full dry.
Yeah, my wipers weren't working out there. This was at the start on the start line, and then just after the safety car came out, they stopped. So it was a bit unfortunate, but it's one of those things.
And a bit of a drift king on the last lap at the hairpin?
No, honestly, I didn't know where it was on the track. I just happened to press the accelerator at the right time. It was the John Kinmond, he's a drift king, definitely.
So it's been a good weekend overall for you?
Yeah, we made some changes to the car and the handling's a lot better. We were really happy, got the lap record overall. So chuffed for that. And it turned into a test session for the weekend as opposed to, we had some good racing with John in the first race, and then he had some bad luck in the other 2 races. Again, John Kinmond, really nice, clean racing, leaving a gap. If you were going to make a move, you didn't have to worry about the door getting slammed shut on you. So nice, safe race in the classics.
That's what I like to hear. Well, thanks very much, and congratulations once again.
Thank you, and see you at Helen Show, Fiona. Thank you.
So that's the race coming to a close here today at Knockhill Racing Circuit for the Classic Sports and Saloons Car Championship. We'll see you again next time for more action-packed racing.